Have you heard the news about a major change to the DWP benefits system? What if I told you that starting in February, attendance allowance is being scrapped in 13 postcodes? Yes, you heard that right, 13 areas will be affected, and this could impact many of you. But what does this really mean for you? How does this change affect your benefits, and what can you do to make sure you're not left in the dark? Now, I know many of you might be wondering, why are they making these changes, and what's next? Well, I've got some answers for you, but you'll want to stick around to hear all the details. It's not just about what's being removed, it's about what's being introduced in its place. Will this new benefit be better for you, or should you be concerned? What if I told you that in some areas, seniors could get more help, while in others, it might feel like a step backward? What are the options for those who might not be affected yet, and what should you be doing now to stay ahead of the changes? The truth is, this shift could change the way many of you receive support, and it's crucial to understand the full picture before it's too late. Do you know if you're in one of the affected postcodes? And what about your friends or loved ones, could they be impacted? You might be asking yourself if there's anything you can do right now to protect your benefits. Don't worry, I'm here to guide you through everything you need to know. Make sure you're fully prepared for February's changes. Stick with me, and let's dive into exactly how this will affect you. David here, let's break it down and get you the answers you need. We're going to dive deep into a crucial topic that could impact many of you, especially if you're living in one of the areas set to be affected by some big changes from the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP. If you're someone who relies on attendance allowance, you're probably already aware that things are changing. But how do these changes affect you, and what can you do about it? Let's break it down so you can understand exactly what's going on and how to prepare for what's coming. Now, first, let's talk about attendance allowance. This benefit has been a lifeline for many seniors across the UK. It helps people with the extra costs that arise when they have a disability, illness, or health condition that makes it harder for them to look after themselves. But there's a shift happening, and the attendance allowance is being replaced by a new benefit called the Pension Age Disability Payment, PADP. If you live in one of the affected areas, this change could be happening sooner than you think, and it's something you'll need to pay attention to. For those of you who live in certain areas of Scotland, this change is already underway. If you happen to live in any of the areas where this rollout is happening in February, you'll want to stay tuned because there are a lot of important details to cover. The DWP is phasing out attendance allowance in 13 postcodes starting in February, and this could affect your payments if you're already receiving benefits. But before you start worrying, let me explain exactly how this is going to work and what you need to know. First off, I want to make sure you understand what the Pension Age Disability Payment actually is and why it's replacing attendance allowance. While attendance allowance is designed to help pensioners who need extra care because of a disability or health condition, the new Pension Age Disability Payment is designed to offer more tailored support to older adults in need of assistance. It's a benefit that's been specifically created to make sure that seniors who need extra help due to illness or disability are getting the support they deserve. Now, what's really interesting about this change is that it's not just about replacing one benefit with another. It's also about how the government is rolling out this new system. Starting in February, the DWP will begin this rollout in areas like Aberdeenshire, East Ayrshire, North Ayrshire, South Ayrshire, and many others. This means that if you live in these areas, you'll soon be receiving the Pension Age Disability Payment instead of attendance allowance, and the amount you receive could vary depending on the assessment process. You might be wondering, why are they doing this? Well, the answer lies in the government's desire to simplify the benefits system for pensioners and ensure that those who need support the most are getting it in a more efficient way. The Pension Age Disability Payment is designed to offer greater flexibility and better support for those with long-term conditions or disabilities that affect their ability to live independently. It's a move that's meant to improve the system, but it's important to understand what it means for you. So, what does this change mean for you specifically? If you're currently receiving attendance allowance in one of the affected areas, you might wonder if you need to do anything to make sure you're still getting support. The answer is, yes, you may need to take action. But don't worry, this isn't going to be a big, complicated process. If you live in one of the postcodes where this new benefit is being introduced, you'll be contacted by the DWP, and they'll explain exactly how the transition works. Here's where things get a bit tricky. If you're in one of these areas, your attendance allowance will no longer be paid after the rollout date. Instead, you'll start receiving the pension age disability payment. This means that if you're eligible, you'll continue to get support, but the amount you receive might differ. The DWP will assess your eligibility based on factors like your health condition, the level of care you need, and whether or not you have any other sources of support. But what about those of you who aren't in one of the affected areas yet? Well, don't worry, this is just the beginning of the rollout, and the pension age disability payment is expected to be available nationwide by April 2025. This means that even if you're not in one of the 13 postcodes currently affected, it's just a matter of time before this change reaches your area. So, you'll want to start getting familiar with this new system, so you're not caught off guard when it happens in your postcode. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds like a lot of change, and I'm not sure what to expect. And I completely understand that. Change can be overwhelming, especially when it comes to something as important as your benefits. But here's the good news: if you're eligible for the pension age disability payment, you don't have to worry about losing your support. In fact, some of you might even get more support than you're currently receiving under attendance allowance, depending on your circumstances. And don't forget, if you're terminally ill, there's a fast-track process for applying for the higher rate of payment. This means that if you meet the criteria, you won't have to wait for the usual assessment process. You'll automatically qualify for the higher payment rate, regardless of how long your terminal illness lasts. This is a key part of the new system, and it's something that's designed to make sure people with serious health conditions get the support they need quickly and without unnecessary delays. So, what should you do next? First of all, I want to encourage you to take action if you live in one of the areas that's affected by these changes. Make sure you're aware of the timeline, and don't ignore any correspondence from the DWP. If you're not already signed up for the pension age disability payment, you may need to apply when the time comes. If you're unsure about how to apply, or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with the DWP directly. They have a dedicated team that can help guide you through the process. In addition to applying for the pension age disability payment, I recommend keeping an eye on the government's website for any updates or changes to the rollout schedule. As we mentioned earlier, this is only the first phase of the rollout, and things could shift or change as the program expands across Scotland and eventually the rest of the UK. Being proactive now will help you stay ahead of the curve. One final point I want to mention is the importance of spreading the word. If you know other seniors who could be affected by these changes, make sure you let them know about the upcoming changes to attendance allowance and the introduction of the pension age disability payment. Many people might not be aware of these changes, and it's crucial that they stay informed. Whether it's a family member, a friend, or a neighbor, passing on this information could make a big difference in their ability to navigate the transition. So, to wrap up, the introduction of the pension age disability payment is a significant change that could affect many of you. While this change might seem a bit overwhelming, the key takeaway is that you will continue to receive support if you qualify. The DWP is making an effort to ensure that seniors with disabilities or health conditions get the help they need, but it's up to you to stay informed and take action when necessary. By staying proactive, you can ensure that you're prepared for the rollout in February and beyond. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this information has helped clear up any questions or concerns you might have had about these changes. As always, if you have any questions or need more help understanding this process, feel free to reach out. Stay informed, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.